How can you put together a competent hockey team if you can't even put together a competent name? Utah can't even draw a square correctly compared to Colorado. They're the little brother in every single sense of the word. Let's start the show. To the Toyota Lounge for another DNVR Avalanche pregame show powered by your Front Range dealers of Toyota vehicles and, of course, brought to you by our friends over at Coors Light. This is Rudo. That's my name. I'm pretty sure they call me Rudo. That's Big E. We're here breaking down Avs versus Utah for tonight. The Avs finally back at home, at least for a couple days. It's not super long, but longer than the last two games at home. So a minor improvement there. Utah coming to town as a team trying to chase down the Avs in the standings right now. They're a few points back. They do have a couple games in hand, but the Avs do have a better points percentage, so the Avs technically ahead in the standings. The Avs have been just okay against Central Division opponents so far this season. Do they need to start correcting that ASAP, or is this kind of a free roll game where you feel like they had a great road trip?
Woof. I'm going to say that's the only time I'm going to say it because I've said it again this morning. First game back after is a tough one. It's a tough one. I've lived it. It's not an excuse. It's a reality. Things have to go your way, especially early, so you're not chasing. You can't give anything on a platter, like dumb penalties or, dumb turnovers or don't make them work. If they're going to beat you, they got to beat you clean, and that's on them for making a great play. Like I always say, there's two teams out there. It's not just one team. They're NHL players. They will get their chances. But then again, don't give them freebies. So I think the Avalanche are going to be fine, but it's a tough one. And I think if you look at the schedule, sometimes it's like, when were those games played, the divisional games? You can dissect it. You know what I mean? Like, was it one of those nights where the pucks went in? Was it, on the third and fourth night? Whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And and again, too early. Not too early, but I think time to look forward. I think that, as we all know, this is a little new era right now for this season, and they've had to deal with a different lineup all the time. And now a totally different goaltending situation, which is awesome. You know what I mean? Because they're used to it, and I think they're excited about it. When I say used to it, they're used to have a different lineup every night.
Yep.
It's just been that kind of season, so it's no different in the net. So, you know what? Exciting game tonight. Excited for those guys to be back. But yeah, brutal schedule these past few weeks.
I mean, at least a little bit of stability in the immediate net as it is Wedgwood again tonight. You're still getting Blackwood integrated into the team and all of that. So it'll be Wedgwood's fifth game with the Avs. He currently sits at 3-1. The Avs also are 1-0 against Utah so far this year. So there are some encouraging numbers on that front for the Avs to lean into. We also have some underlying statistical numbers that I can bring up with you now. And Eric, I think you made a good point there. Look, is Utah the best team in the NHL? No, but they do have some pretty good underlying statistics. They're also a very good possession team, the same way Colorado is. Both teams have very similar expected goals numbers. So really on paper, at least at 5-on-5, these two teams do look fairly even in a lot of ways. One of the biggest differences is the high danger save percentages. Now, the Avs stat there is obviously a little bit misleading. The two guys that contributed the most to that poor high danger save percentage are no longer on the team. So hopefully that starts course correcting for Colorado. But on Utah's side, they do have one of the best save percentages against high danger chances of anybody. So the Avs are going to need some quantity tonight on top of the quality. There's a good chance that Utah can shut you down a little bit if you don't generate enough opportunities. You want to see him jump on that? The other side of this is we have big boy Val Nichushkin on there for the Avs. Utah, one of the softest teams in the NHL statistically. They do not hit very much. They are not a particularly physical team. They are a team that is pretty young and pretty small. You can not even necessarily hits, but if you go to work in the corners, if you use your guys, Nichushkin's a big guy, Rantanen's a big guy. You even look at some of the other guys in the Avs lineup that maybe have a little bit more size, you should be able to outmuscle and outwork a Utah team in those areas. And then the other side of this, I'm assuming you probably have something along this lines in your 3 keys too, but Utah, when they get scored on first, 3-8-1, score first. You'll probably beat this hockey team.
I do believe it's in there. I do believe it's, if it's not in there, it's about winning the first period. But again, it was like it's been in the keys the last 2 games. But again, to follow up the numbers you just talked about, which I love and appreciate those numbers all the time. I look forward to that graphic every pregame. But the Bear, Andre Turing, a former Avs assistant coach under Patty Waugh, is a very structured coach. So you can tell that the Utah Hockey Club, I'm always about to say something, the Utah something, and then I'm like, oh God, it's the Hockey Club. The Hockey Club is well coached. They're very structured. And you know that they're going to adhere to their structure. And you know he's pressed it very hard that you don't get into a track meet with this Avalanche squad. So I would expect a very structured game by both teams tonight. And then until it cracks. You know what I mean? If it cracks, and then you'll see a little bit of more wide open hockey. But I think to start with, I think it's very important, like you said, please get the lead. God, they're a different team.
Again, I've said this in a couple of my reviews lately too. If the Avs have a lead in the third period, they are the best team in hockey. Boom. The game is basically over if the Avs are leading in the third period of the game. They are so good this year at shutting down games, getting leads and keeping them when it's crunch time.
So basically, if you play for 40 minutes,
you're going to win.
It's almost an automatic win. Right? I mean, I don't know if my math
You probably have to play those last 20 or it's not going to be an automatic win, but kind of.
Yeah.
Before we get into all of that and get into your 3 keys, we also had hockey in the Rockies this morning, where even I joined in for fun at morning skate. So let's see what we said earlier today.
Oh, a special edition Hockey in the Rockies coming to you from Paul Arena. Look at Rudo, by the way.
Woo! Once every 3 years, you got to dress up. Yeah.
Come on.
Is he getting married? Renewing your vows.
Yeah. What are you guys doing? Date night tonight?
Hello, Mrs. Rudo.
Man, I'm telling you
those secrets won't be revealed, okay?
If you're out to seek the truth, leave elegance to the tailor. My goodness. Hopefully you are all well and good. It is Hockey in the Rockies, a Rudo special edition with us. We got, of course, Big E. There is a vibe that is completely different around this team than I have seen ever before. That is the most energetic and loose I've seen the locker room after a morning skate. That is the most players that have hung around to talk to the media, and that is certainly the longest time that we've hung out in that room after a morning skate, whether it was good or bad.
You're bang on. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to put the player hat on right now, and I'm going to be quick about this, but you are absolutely correct, because it's got nothing to do with the human beings. Everybody's a good guy. Everybody's a good person. Everybody's a good teammate. You know, but when you have a need, the Avalanche clearly had a need. It was something they needed to do. That's why you love the Avalanche. That's why you love that front office. If you're a core player, you're like, you know, wow, thank you. And then what does that do? I'm going to go do my job now. Look no further than the last game. The top line was outstanding, putting the pucks in the net. There's a reason for that, because it's like, it's a thank you. It's just saying thank you very much. And then it just translates to the rest of the locker room. Again, it's not the individuals. It's not the people. We're talking about needs on the ice. They addressed it. They nailed it, and you're going to see the positive that comes from it.
3 words: winning cures everything.
In this, they're not going to win the season out. Like, I want to make very clear here that we're all roses and rainbows right now. There will be losses and there will be more hand wringing, but it won't be to the level that it was at before. This is a different group from top to bottom. You'll see Jared Bednar's press conference. You can check that out online right now. Also, but everybody has a different. It's like you were walking around with a 45-pound plate on your back, and now everybody's cut that string, and you are 45 pounds lighter.
Yeah, It really is a vibes thing, and I say that as the analytics guy on this show.
Whoop, whoop.
You can just feel the difference in the air of the room and the team. They feel like they are a team that believes in themselves now.
Yeah. This is going to be a difficult game tonight against Utah, not because of the opponent, but because of the schedule. This is a tired group. There's no question about it. Wedgwood getting the start tonight assumed that for a myriad of different reasons. But what do we expect tonight? I expect them to win tonight, just based on the high that they're running off of. But it's a hard hockey game tonight.
But this is a mindset. This is a locker room. You just talked about, both of you, that you expect to win. You're not afraid to lose. Oh. And those are the fringe teams. You know what I mean? Like Buffalo. You're afraid to lose, right? You're winning 4-0. You're afraid to lose. You end up losing 5-4. The Avalanche have a different mindset. They expect to win every night. Yes, this is the player hat again coming in. This is a tough one tonight. You're coming back from another 9-day road trip. You come back here in this time zone. It is a tough game tonight. It's not an excuse. It's a reality. That's why you need to jump on the ahead of it. That's why you need goaltending and you need good vibes and you need the crowd behind them. So the crowd hasn't been here a lot lately. It hasn't been a lot of home games. Yeah. Get behind it, have some fun, and cheer on the fellas.
I think Ball Arena is going to be hyped tonight.
I think they should be. Look, it is an important game to some extent for the Avalanche. It is a 4-point game, Central Division matchup. They still need to make hay in this division, and they need to make hay at home. So there is a lot on the line here to a certain extent for the Avs. With the new vibe and everything great, go out and prove it.
All right, it is puck drop time tonight. That happens at Ball Arena. Make sure that you are picking up the guys for the pregame show. They'll be back in studio. You guys are watching along tonight as well,
yes,
so
sir.
You'll have that to enjoy. I'll be hitting you with intermissions, and I'll join on the postgame show. Make sure you're joining us for all of the action. I'm telling you right now, there is no better group of people covering the Colorado Avalanche than the guys that you see sitting right here. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tonight.
So there you go. Even if people think you look like a homeless guy when you dress up, the vibes are still good. So
I love it. You look great.
Avs hockey is fun right now. That's the best part. Keep it fun. Go out tonight and keep it fun for everybody.
Especially on a day like where you renewed your vows today with your wife.
Yeah,
that's good.
All right, buddy, relax. We do have your 3 keys. Maybe not dressed up quite as nice as I was, but dress it up for us.
I'll dress it up for you. Number 1, get ahead, don't chase. Rudo just talked about it, right? First game back after that lengthy road trip. Don't chase the game. The last couple games, you got the lead. Do it again. Get after it. This is a time, and this is a game where you want to really get your energy out right away. You don't want to be chasing in the third period where you're trying to get energy when it's a really tough time after this road trip to really manufacture some inner energy. So get ahead, don't chase. Number 2, everybody ropes, everybody rides. And total team involvement tonight. You need all 3 areas buzzing. Forwards, Ds, goaltender. Bring passion to a night like this. Create emotion from within. Very important to do. Get the crowd involved. Let's not take stupid penalties. Let the flow of the game dictate. Everybody gets in there early. Everybody gets a hit, takes a hit, and then everybody just gets into the game, and you never look back. Number 3, thrive in your environment. You know what I mean? Like Utah has points in 6 of the last 7 games. The Avs lead the NHL in 1-goal games. That is their environment. You know what I mean? You know it's probably going to be a tight one tonight. I mean, I'm assuming. Again, we don't know, but if I had a crystal ball, I would say that it's going to be a tight game tonight. And the Avs are thriving in that environment. So Avs have won 3 in a row. Utah is a well-balanced team. We talked about it with Coach Turing, a very well-structured team. So let's go and duplicate what you've been doing and feel good in those tight games. And Rudo talked about it. Bring it to after 40 minutes with the lead, and you should be more than fine. And then just close that out like they're the best team in the NHL at closing out games.
That simple.
Very simple.
It's an important skill to have in the NHL. Expectations for the Avs tonight. I don't think the official lineup out there yet, but I don't think there will be any changes. It's possible maybe you see Middleton for Ludwig. That would be the only one that I would expect a change on. But
maybe I think they'll. I'm just going to go with same lineup.
That's my expectation too. But we are still waiting on an official confirmation to the lineup. Beyond Wedgwood, don't expect much difference. We'll put it to you that way. And when you look at the Avs' current lineup, and this kind of goes back to one of my notes about Utah maybe not being one of the strongest teams in the NHL. You got to clean up good. And I don't mean the way you dress. I mean, get to the net front, get to the dirty areas. I think this is one of the biggest shortcomings right now of the Avalanche offense, even as it has started to get rolling again. I don't think they do enough to find rebounds and make effective second chance opportunities. Maybe you can speak to this a little bit, and maybe part of this is guys still getting back into the lineup, but how do the Avs improve part of their game like that?
Yeah, I mean, you got to do a better job boxing out, like I said. It's going to sound so stupid what I'm going to say, but they give up not a lot.
Yeah.
And then when you do, it looks like it's a letdown because you haven't defended for like 10, 12 minutes. You know what I mean? And then it's like, and then you just kind of don't pay attention for half a second because you've been on your toes, you've been not on your heels. And then, like I said, it's going to sound stupid and it is stupid, but it's so true. But you got to do a better job boxing out. The Avalanche, as a decor, forget about the forwards, have to do a better job at that. And you hear Coach talk about being above pucks all night. Starts in the offensive zone with the forwards, right? And then you want to make sure in the neutral zone you are tight 5-man units. Why? Because the backside pressure enables your Ds to have a good gap. So it's all like an accordion all together, right? And then you get in the defensive end. Sure, it falls on the decor, the box out, but also your centerman, your guy down low, and the Avalanche need to do a better job. You bang on about trying to clear out pucks in front of that and don't give up that second or third opportunity. If that's one area that they can clean up, and I'm pretty sure they've addressed it, and as a team, you haven't had a lot of practice time. There's some drills you can do to practice that in the course of a season. Obviously, the practice time's been real short with all the games lately, but you can tell they'll probably have a real practice on the trip this week. There's like 2 days in a row. I'll probably get a day off and then a good solid practice there, to tighten things up, for the next few weeks there, obviously until Christmas break happens on the 22nd or whatever it is, right? Their last game, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think the 22nd is the last game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is interesting a little bit to me when you look at a night like tonight, E. And I don't think that the Avs have... I don't think there's been a lot of hate in any Avs game against any Avs team, or really even teams like Dallas that just seem to have the Avs number in the playoffs. There isn't a lot of rage in those games, I would put it. You tend to be the guy. I know you don't condone violence, but sometimes you want to see a little bit more physicality. I'll put it to you that way. Is that still true with the current lineup of the Avs, given they're missing a Josh Manson, given they're missing a Miles Wood? Do other guys need to step up and show some of that physicality, or can they get away without it?
I agree with you. And I think that on paper, you're missing a few pieces that do bring that grit, that sandpaper, that roughness. And it's not about fighting. And sometimes it can escalate to that. If you watch hockey, I don't know if you saw the game 2 days ago, the Bruins against Winnipeg. That's old school hockey, old time hockey right there. Is it stupid at times? Yeah, absolutely. I don't disagree with you. But emotions are part of the game, and emotions get the best of you. And sometimes you might want to make sure you don't get taken advantage of as a team. Now, it's a weird thing when you look at Boston versus Winnipeg, because they're not even in the same conference, and you're like, wow, why do they hate each other so much? But I do feel, and we talked about it last week, I do feel that there's been a little too friendly here and there. And I think if you were a part of the scouts meetings of the Avalanche these last few weeks, they're probably saying, okay, how do we go and get that trophy, right? That silver thing. Or maybe we need to add, I know we're missing Manson, Wood, but what if those guys are not coming? How do we go about that? We got to add a little bit more, or some guys have to emerge, have guys that can do that. And again, it's not about fighting, and you know me well enough. That's not what I'm trying to do. But sometimes you do have to get in there. You do have to create some passion, some emotion. And next thing you know, it creates a power play. It creates something. And you have to show a little bit of, it is a physical sport.
Well, so, I mean, my point is, look, Ivan's played great. He's earned a role in the NHL, probably permanently. You've gotten a pretty darn good season out of Yoel Kiviranta. Bednar talked about it today, saying that guy's getting involved a little bit more offensively this year, too. But you look at both of those guys, and nobody's scared to go into the corner against those guys. No one's worried that they're going to get smoked. No one's worried that they're going to get out-muscled by those guys. So that's where I do wonder, it's an obstacle for the Avs to overcome. That at times they have to rely maybe a little bit too much on skill, especially in the depth of their lineup.
Because they do have the skill.
Yeah,
so we're
for
talking.
sure.
Why are we talking about this? Not the violence, not the fighting. We're talking about a little bit of sandpaper because their lack thereof on their lineup, especially with Josh not being there and Miles not being there. It's flagrant right now. So you do need, if you have all skilled guys, it's not going to work.
Yep.
Hockey is not a sport that, we talk about on the decor. Josh is that whiskey drinker, right? You know what I mean? Where the other guys are wine drinkers. And, he's more rough and tough. And he can change the game or change a period with a big hit between the blue line. I say all the time about McNabb in Vegas, right? Yeah, he's not the most skilled guy, but boy, oh boy, can he change a series? Can he change the momentum of a game with a big hit? And, that's what they're missing from Josh. And I understand he hasn't had the best season. But I'll tell you one thing, he does bring a lot, and there would be 32 teams willing to take Josh Manchin, including the Avalanche. So you're missing that, and I bet you that if they're trying to do something at the trade deadline, which we'll plenty of time to talk about, it's going to be a little bit of sandpaper.
Just to confirm, as expected, it is the exact same lineup as the other night. So
there you go.
No changes. Giovanni Smith still on the fourth line, and Middleton still on your third pairing. Look, the Avs, as currently constructed, might not be the best version of themselves, but they should be a good enough team to go out and win regularly.
Absolutely. And that's what we've seen. And I think, again, I'm not going back to goaltending, but it was flagrant at the start of the year. You're talking about maybe 5-6 losses that, we're directly looking at goaltending. And if you do those 5-6 wins, the Avs probably near the top of the league. I mean, let's just do the math here.
Minnesota has had a wicked hot start, so
That's
I don't know
crazy.
if they'd catch them, but they'd be...
We can talk about that next week.
They'd be right there with Winnipeg, I'll put you that.
Yeah, In Minnesota, for me, that's the surprise, and then Washington and the East, right? They're two teams that I really didn't anticipate that. Good on them. It's awesome. Again, you don't hand out the Stanley Cup after 25 games.
Very true.
We'll see if they can keep up with that pace.
It's actually a really good point, as the Twitter conversation right now between Makar and Hughes.
It's 25 games.
It's 30, but...
Are we at 30 right now?
This is 31, actually. Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize. It goes by too quick.
But if you are actually trying to award the Norris in seriousness after Game 30 of the season, your take is unserious. I've said many times Makar should probably win the Norris this year. I wasn't being serious, because if you're giving away awards before the end of the year, you don't have the whole story. So I'll leave it there. If I had to vote tonight, I'd vote for Cale Makar. I know a lot of people would vote for Quinn Hughes, and I think either answer is fair. But that might be more clear at Game 82 than Game 30. I'm just saying.
I agree.
Anyway.
Fair take.
Neither of those two are in my bets tonight, but let's get into my pregame picks with the never ordinary Bet365. Look, I think I believe in Scott Wedgwood to make over 25.5 saves. That's really not that many saves to make. If I know Eric has some thoughts about this one being maybe a little sloppy at times, Wedgwood might have to make a few for the Avs. You are also getting very good money on the Avs power play on a bunch of guys. Valenchushkin plus 280 for a power play point. The Avs have kind of been rotating who's on their top unit, so he might get some time on that top unit if you're lucky and find his way to a point. There are a ton of other ones. Like I said, I think Makar's like plus 150 for a power play point too, if you want one that's maybe a little bit safer. And then the boosted bet from Bet365 has 4 shots for Mikko and Nate, and then a point each for Mikko and Nate at plus 450.
Yeah, I got that one.
Based on the last game, Mikko and Nate are back into shoot it mode. So feel pretty good about that one. You feel pretty good about the Avs' chances if Mikko and Nate are in shoot it mode. So should be a fun one if the Avs can hit even a couple of those bets. Don't need all 3, but you hit a few of them. You like the Avs' chances to really get in and win against Utah here. I need 2 things from you. I need a sleeper pick on who's going to play well tonight for the Avs, and I need a score.
A score? A score. Score. You mean final score?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me think here. You put me on the spot. My brain is going. Hold on. I'm going like this.
Think it through.
I'm going to think this through. I think Casey Middlestat pops off tonight.
Let's go.
With
I'm
3+
here for this.
points.
I'm here for this.
and I said it earlier because I was telling you when we were looking at bets, I do believe this is a 4-3, maybe an extra time for the good guys. That's what I'm feeling.
All right. I like it.
So, I'm middle stat. I was thinking a little bit Logan O'Connor. I like his game lately. I was thinking maybe Logan with a short-handed goal. It was crossing my wires there. It's been a while. I mean, not that he did it 3 games in a row last year, but boy, can you imagine having that stretch? It's like Ryan Boucher having 5 shutouts back then in a row, like something like that. How crazy is that? And you're like, what?
Not normal.
It's not going to happen again. I'm no offense to Logan. I'm saying if you were going to bet a bet, like no chance.
Get plus $1 million.
Yeah. It's absurd what he did. So I was thinking Logan. But like I said, I'm thinking more middle stat. I think Val is playing really well right now.
I agree.
I think Casey has his road trip picked up as it went, with a tough start in Buffalo after a little tough stretch before that here. But then his road trip got better and better. I don't know. I just have that feeling, that type of team that Utah is. I feel that he can slide in behind Nate there, get some greasy, slippery.
I'll take it.
Ice time, and that would be my guy to pick right now. Yeah,
I'm going far less greasy than you. I'm going 4-1 Avs on this one.
All right.
I think Wedgewall locks it down for him. I also think, especially against a team like Utah, and I can't state this enough, their forward core is very young. Lots of inexperienced players. Not that they aren't extremely talented, but when you put an inexperienced forward core like that up against a defense like the Avs have, the Avs defenses are going to torch some of those guys. So I'm going to take some Malinsky magic tonight. Taking Sam Malinsky to pop off, put one in the back of the net.
I like that.
Help the Avs from the back end, push the puck the right direction. So
I love it.
That's what I want to see. Who knows what we'll actually see? You'll have to watch the game for that, which you can do along with us. We will be having a watch along tonight, so come join, come say hi. We'll chat it up with you as the game goes, whatever happens. And I don't know, do we have the teaser?
Oh, you told me no.
I said I didn't want to play the real thing. We don't need the teaser.
I can add one more thing while she's looking for it. But if I'm the Avalanche, this is what I want to see early in the game. And if I'm Utah, here's what I don't want to see early in the game. And it's like, I'm gonna be the bear touring. Don't give the Avalanche power play time. Don't let those skill guys touch the puck, feel the game early in the game. That is the worst thing you can do. Let them work for it at 5-on-5. Let them earn whatever they want. Like I said, if you're the Avalanche, you're hoping that you get one of those little greasy power play right off the bat, and you're like, I feel good about myself.
All right. You won't be able to see this full thing until tomorrow's show, so this is just to get you a little bit excited, but here's what we were working on. You can check out our interview coming tomorrow. Here's a little taste. DNVR is here at Ball Arena with the GM of the Colorado Avalanche, Chris McFarland, celebrating the legacy of the Avalanche, but also that GM position with people like Pierre Lacroix in that history. First of all, Chris, thank you for joining us. We have Nick Gismondi, Nathan Rudolph here. It's kind of big shoes to fill. There's only ever 32 GMs in the NHL. What's it like being part of the Avalanche organization and the legacy the GM position has here?
Well, obviously it's a dream come true, right? I think you hit the nail on the head there. There's 32 of these jobs, so it's definitely not lost on me how fortunate enough the opportunity is to have one of those jobs, a dream come true. When I started, 25 whatever it's been years ago, I wanted to be a scout, and then worked your way up to be an assistant GM, and then the cherry on top of the sundae is you pinch yourself, and every day I get to walk into a rink is a day where I thank the big man upstairs, and I'm very fortunate to do what I do. So
this has been the DNVR Avalanche pregame show, brought to you by Coors Light. We'll see you in the watch along in just a few minutes.
We all silly like the mayor.